Hi, this is Camilla Blossom, and I wanted to talk about land alchemy, how you would go about clearing land of energy, of its spirit, of its magic, in order for it to really find a more awakened, coherent, harmonious, and balanced state of being. Just like people have shifts in their energy, pick up energies from others, or carry even trauma, land does that as well. So you can use a lot of the principles of, as a personal healer, working with planetary healing or with land, with the earth. So this is the work that I've really enjoyed doing for some time now, and also teach others how to do this. And I've developed a number of different practices that are that use different tools, vibrational tools, from sounds, sound healing, to crystals, to flower essences, to symbols, and different techniques, using pendulums, and working with different practices that can help clear and heal land. And they can be anything from blessing and opening an intention for land. They can be clearing historical imprints if there's been a lot of history and trauma on the land. They can be clearing discordant energies, ghosts. And as you probably know, like being on land or in a home or in a business, being anywhere on earth can sometimes not feel very good if there is a lot of energy from the past that hasn't been cleaned and cleared. And especially places where a lot of people congregate, there can tend to be a lot of energy congestion, even attachments, lots of things that kind of linger around on land. So one of my gifts is to help people clear their land, their homes, their businesses, their restaurants, their places of these lingering energies, these old emotions and imprints, ghosts, attachments, whatever it is. And so for me, it's always this kind of sacred challenge to honor this place on earth and awaken it. And the way that I work is really all about relationship. I'm not just doing this on my own. Like, the reason I have become powerful in doing this work is because I'm working in relationship with not only my own guides and angels and spirits I work with, but also the spirits of the land, and I call them the land council. So I introduce myself to the trees that are on the land. I introduce myself to the gnomes, the fairies, the different spiritual realms. I introduce myself and make amends to the indigenous ancestors. I do ceremony with them. I give blessings and prayers and lots of different practices that can help awaken the land is really what I see happening. Like, once I finish working on a place, there's this beautiful feeling that washes over the land and really changes the whole environment. And that can attract a lot of new abundance, a lot of blessings, relationships, different things can open and be explored when we clear away the past, just like for a person. So just to give you an example, I was just working on one last week, and it was so interesting because it was someone who'd done a lot of work already. She was someone who studied with me, but she felt like there was a little bit more she wasn't getting to. So we ended up doing some alignment ceremony for her with the elementals. But then what came through as we worked together on this was I kept seeing kind of psychedelic clothing and time, and it turns out it was a site where there was a lot of community, a lot of music, a lot of psychedelic drugs, it felt like. So I was seeing this whole collection through my mind's eye. I do this intuitively as a reading, as an opening, as a ceremony. So I was opening and seeing this, these kind of historical imprints of all these people that had been partying there, doing LSD and music and having a great time. The problem was, it wasn't so much they were having a great time, which is great. But what happens is, whether people are having an amazing, beautiful time or having trauma on land, sometimes they can leave their energy or aspects of themselves, aspects of their soul. They can leave that on the land if they had a really significant experience there. So if people are doing really deep drugs or, work with psychedelics, that can really bring up a healing crisis. Or it can bring through, very expanded, beautiful awareness. So what I found was there was a lot of soul aspects that were still there. Some were like attachments. So people who had experiences there were very attached to that land. They loved it. They had a great time. So they kind of had this energetic attachment, leading to this land and hooking into this place. Others that had, let's say they had a really bad trip, their energy was kind of, or an aspect of them had maybe splintered off and hung out there, but they weren't in a good way. So that's another kind of, energetic debris or energetic, fragments that are lingering around and affecting the people in the future. And so I did a lot of clearing up of, working with these different attachments and soul fragments and soul parts and really bringing them back to whose they are. They don't have permission to be on this land anymore. Let's clear the slate. And so we did that process, and it was so cool because I did it remotely, and I could feel that as each of these people, and also, those souls that really need to pass on, we opened the Rainbow Bridge. But those souls that need to move on, or their aspects, started doing that. And as that happened, I could just feel like I got lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. And you could just feel the land start to breathe again. It really feels like, because I'm such an empath and sensitive, when I work on land, I really feel like the heaviness of what their land is trying to tell me, what the spirits there are trying to say. They'll come in like, this is going on. And then we start doing the work together and help them, and then start clearing. In this case, we were clearing out all these layers and layers and layers. And as they cleared, it's like, oh my gosh, the land could breathe again. It felt so good. The elementals were so happy. They were playing, they were free. They didn't feel so congested by all that human, emotion and imprints on the land. And so that's kind of an example. But what I find so fascinating is every time I do a land alchemy session for someone, for their home, their land, it's like there'll be a different scenario of what's gone on there. And so I find it a really beautiful experience of honoring all these places on the earth and kind of discovering the stories that are held there, what has happened there, what needs to be freed up. Many times I have experiences with indigenous ancestors, and now I've gotten really familiar with them, and they've gotten familiar with me and can see that I'm coming to bring peace. So I've been witness to many, many ceremonies of indigenous people before their spirits leave through the Rainbow Bridge and move on off the planet, because more and more of these souls and spirits are moving off. And so I have these experiences of really tuning in and witnessing their ceremony and their songs and their drumming and their dances and honoring their walk, their life, and then helping them pass and move on to the next place. So I have to say, this is very sacred work. And if this is something you are interested in or really intrigues you, there's different ways to work together. I can come to land and do on-site work. I am in the Pacific Northwest area. And I also do a lot of it remote, on Zoom or in ceremony remotely on my own. It depends on how much engagement you want. I have a whole questionnaire so we can look at the history of land and what's been going on, and then I go through my my whole checklist and my connecting with the land council and seeing, what has been going on there that really needs attention. And it's just amazing to me the difference, the difference that happens. It's kind of like if you've had that experience of going to a healer or body worker and, just feeling like so light and so good, like you really released energy, lined yourself up, aligned with your spirit. That's what the land does as well. And it just feels really beautiful to be anchoring. And I know each place we can do this work for, the more this will spread around the planet and affect all of the earth, allow the earth to fully awaken in a much more gentle, harmonious way. So I do sessions. I'm also on Patreon, have a lovely group where I'm teaching them how to do all this. And so we meet twice a month. And then I share lots of videos and teachings. And so you can learn how to be a land alchemist and do this work yourself. I also do mentorship. So there's lots of ways to get involved if this is something that calls you. So definitely reach out if you like. That's CamillaBlossom.com, and let me know how I can support you and your home, your land, and also sacred sites. I work a lot with sacred sites, going to them, doing remote work. I've worked with really big events. I've worked with weddings. I've worked with in ceremony with a lot of Native American people, and in a lot of different capacities for work on behalf of the planet, light work, as well as work with land, businesses, homes, and So let me know if you would like to learn more.